Hey guys, here we go into a breakdown of Jake Paul and Ben Askren, and we're going to be taking a look at some film of Ben Askren's Padwork, and going to be talking about some things that are going to contribute to my prediction in the fight. So, first off, I want to say that Jake Paul is not a boxer. Surprise! I know. You didn't know that, did you? No, I guess not. So he's not a boxer, obviously. He's not a boxer. Spoiler alert, Ben Askren's not a boxer either, right? So neither of these guys are boxers. But we also know that Ben Askren is not a striker, okay? And boxing and striking are very, very different skills, okay? They're very, very different. You will use striking in the course of your boxing, in the course of your slipping and your rolling and your feinting and your probing. You'll use striking to end your engagements, to end the sequence, right? To land a big punch, right? Your big punch is going to be where all your striking practice takes place. Ben Askren is not a striker. Jake Paul might be. Jake Paul, we know he hits hard. We know that he has knocked someone out, and not just someone, a literal professional athlete. A literal professional athlete. So, taking a look at, and I know he's not a boxer either, but one of the very interesting things that we know about Jake Paul is that he can slip punches and punch at the same time. And excellent. Even though he might be getting touched a little bit by that jab there, I want to point out that his opponent here, Robinson, is stepping with this jab and telegraphing it to Jake Paul. And after that motion, Jake Paul's able to get off the line and get his head off the line again, right? And then slip that shot and land another big punch to actually drop Nate Robinson to end the fight. But we can see that even though Jake Paul here is not a boxer, he's not. He does have some pretty decent striking. And he is using classic boxing maneuvers, slipping off the line and punching at the same time, slipping off the line and landing a huge knockout punch at the same time. So he's much, much, much closer to being a boxer than Ben Askren with this hilarious interpretation of Padwork. This is just some of the most... I'm just baffled. I'm just baffled. So we're going to break some of it down here real quick. I want you guys to pay attention to a few things here. Number one, where is his head here, right? It's in the middle of his line, right? It's not over this leg. It's not over this leg. And this is where he's looking to start combat, okay? So he gets on the line with his opponent. What's the first thing he does? He's going to slip. All right, so let's take a look at this slip. Slip to the back foot, okay, when that jab comes. Didn't come, but when he slips to the back foot, how far does his head get off the line? Not that much, right? Maybe it's a straight punch. We'll forgive him. We'll just call it a pro-level slip and assume that he's going to get out of the way of this punch. Sure, great. Okay, now he gets to slip the right hand, gets his way to the front foot, heel, knee, head. That's pretty decent, pretty succinct. He's off the line. Give him credit. Now look at him throw these punches. And where does he throw these punches from? Right back from the center, right? He's not on either side. He doesn't get his head off the line. He throws the punch, center line, center line. And as we saw when Jake Paul throws his punches, here, his head is off the line, power punch. His head is off the line, power punch. When he slips his head to the back foot, he's getting his weight here, here, and here. He's getting his weight all the way to that back foot. When he slips his weight to the front foot, you can't really see it in this angle, but his head is over his knee. It might be a little over. He might be exaggerating the positions because he's new to boxing, but he's fundamentally doing the most important things he's supposed to be doing. Crossing the line, transitioning his weight, and changing positions. And this is what allows him to dominate his opponent, Nate Robinson, in this fight. And which is exactly why he's going to be dominating Jake Paul, or he's going to be dominating Ben Askren. As we can see here, Ben Askren, even getting on the line with his own drill, he knows what the drill is. He can't find the rhythm and timing to start slipping as soon as his coach engages with him, right? And we already saw how far away that jab's going to be, but watch. As he gets on the line again, has to take a step to slip, slipping this way, right back into the center, throwing these punches. Again, when you slip and you throw, when you slip your weight to the back foot this way and your head comes this way, you throw your left hand. When you slip your weight to the front foot, you throw your right hand. This is the same position he should be in when he throws his right hand. And this is a very similar position to what he should be in when he throws his left hand. But when he throws both of them, he's in the center of his line, which tells me that he's going to be doing exactly what Nate Robinson was doing here, jumping forward as he steps with his punch with his head on the center line and getting caught with a big punch. And then coming forward, throwing another jab here and getting caught over the top. So as we can see here, for that kind of double jab tactic, we can see in this one clip of 3 seconds of Jake Paul's fight that he's able to combat this very silly double jab or double jab motion from Ben Askren, right? We can see that he can counter it with the left hook and transfer his weight to the back foot, slipping the jab, or to the inside and throwing a right hand over the top of this extremely telegraphed technique, okay? Now, I also want to point out, someone taught Ben Askren to be on the balls of his feet all the time. This is also a very, very, very common problem in boxing. When I was new to boxing, I thought the exact same thing. And he has no place for his weight to sit down here, so he has no place to pivot. He has no place to transfer his weight right now because both of his feet are on the ball of his feet, which is going to be holding his weight to the center, which means he can't get his head off the line no matter what punch he throws. Okay, let's go ahead and watch a little bit of a few of his punches and see if any of that changes. Let's go back, see if we can. I think he throws a few punches here. Finally getting the heel down on that one, on that right hand, on the balls of both of his feet. I don't know. It's not looking good for Ben Askren, if you ask me. Again, and look at all of these punches. His head doesn't move at all. He doesn't get his head off the line. He's not going to have any power. And that's going to be especially dangerous if he ever tries to use any of these motions to actually feint someone like Jake Paul, who's just going to be swinging. He doesn't have the experience to be able to differentiate whether or not he should be biting on a feint or not, right? So Jake Paul is going to absolutely be controlling the space with big, huge bombs. And I think he's just absolutely going to destroy Ben Askren. I think that Ben Askren is not a boxer. Jake Paul is not a boxer. Ben Askren is definitely not a striker. And Jake Paul is much better at striking than Ben Askren. And again, the difference between striking is what you do after all of the boxing. All of the feinting, the probing, the positions, all of that stuff is the boxing. That's the lead up to the striking. And striking and boxing are completely different skills, completely woven together. So anyway, if you guys are interested in learning striking and learning how to throw a punch and learning how to shadow box and learning how to throw a punch correctly, unlike Ben Askren, learning where your head is supposed to be, learning how to transition your weight, and learning how to do all of that simply through shadow boxing, learning how to pendulum step, learning how to transition your weight in the air to make multiple moves at once, slipping and jumping and, you know, all that fun stuff that greats like Mike Tyson, Roberto Duran, and one of my favorites, Aaron Pryor, super, super great fighter, one of my all-time favorite fighters. But if you're interested in learning any of that, check out the packages in the description in the comments section. Then once you learn your basic striking and you learn your basic shadow boxing, the next step is learning how to chain those weight transitions together in a fluid kind of motion. The Russians call it the pendulum boxing. And I have my own version of pendulum boxing to teach your ability to chain your weight transitions together. And then ways to practice that drill and that theory on the heavy bag as well to really increase not only your power, but your speed, and more importantly, your athleticism.